Only 18% of women climax from penetration alone. That means 8 out of 10 never finish the way most men think they do. If she's still coming back to you, she might be faking it. Not because she wants to, but because she wants you to feel good. The real reason isn't her body, it's your technique. Because pleasure isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. When you learn to use your hands with awareness and precision, you become unforgettable. And the secret I'm about to show you isn't a move, it's a mindset. That means if you are relying only on penetration, you are missing the main event. And if she's still coming back to you, chances are she's faking it. Not because she wants to, but because she wants you to feel good. But why do some touches feel electric while others fall flat? The secret isn't in doing more, it's in doing it right. When you learn how to use your hands with patience and precision, to read her breath, her rhythm, her responses, you become unforgettable. That's not just skill, that's awareness, connection, and mastery. Most men don't realize the kind of influence their hands truly hold. Not just strength, but sensitivity. With the right awareness, those hands can read a woman's body like Braille, sensing every shift, every breath, every quiet yes. Fingers are remarkable tools. They bend, adjust, trace, and respond in ways no other part of the body can. When used with care, they are not instruments of motion, they are instruments of pleasure. I am Dr. Claire Morgan. Today, we will uncover the real science behind touch, how anatomy, psychology, and timing come together to create pleasure that is not mechanical, but deeply human. And if you stay with me till the end of this video, you will understand how to use your fingers with the precision of a magician, guided by science, anatomy, and empathy, not guesswork. Because pleasure isn't about performance, it's about connection, and connection begins with awareness. And for men over 50, that awareness becomes even more powerful. As our bodies change, patience, rhythm, and circulation take the lead where youthful speed once did. But here's where most men lose the connection, not from lack of effort, but from lack of awareness. Because even the most skillful hands can't create pleasure if they are not truly listening. Why technique without awareness fails. Each fingertip holds over 3,000 nerve endings, yet most people use them for action, not perception. When touch becomes rushed or mechanical, the body stops reading it as pleasure and starts reading it as pressure. Arousal isn't a switch, it's a sequence. Blood flow expands, muscles soften, trust deepens. You can't force that with speed, only awareness invites it. In neuroscience, this means shifting from the fight or flight system to the calm, receptive state where sensitivity blooms. The real skill isn't pressure or motion, it's presence. To sense her breathing, her rhythm, her readiness before you even move. Because in intimacy, not knowing the landscape isn't harmless, it's the space where connection gets lost. Once you start listening through your hands instead of leading with them, you will discover how much more the body gives back. The next step is knowing exactly what you are touching, because anatomy is the map that turns awareness into precision. Knowing the map, anatomy of pleasure. The clitoris isn't just a small external bump, it's a complex internal network shaped like a wishbone, wrapping around the vaginal entrance with over 8,000 nerve fibers, twice as many as the penis. Around it, the labia and vestibule form layers rich in sensory endings that respond to warmth, rhythm, and subtle pressure. Deeper lies the urethral sponge, the so-called G-spot, adding fullness and depth. Each area has its own language of touch, and real pleasure comes not from memorizing roots, but from recognizing the signals that say, stay here. You can't understand touch without understanding what happens inside the mind, because every spark of desire begins long before the body moves. Let's talk about arousal, the science of arousal. Arousal starts in the brain. Dopamine sparks anticipation, oxytocin builds connection, and blood flow opens the body to receive. For men over 50, calm becomes the new performance enhancer. Healthy circulation, movement, and deep breathing boost both stamina and sensitivity. But the real key is emotional safety. When trust quiets the brain's alarm system, blood flows, sensation deepens, and pleasure unfolds naturally. When you understand that excitement grows from stillness, not from rush, everything changes. Comment calm if you've ever noticed how slowing down makes touch feel completely different. Before intensity comes awareness. Before passion, there's patience. Anticipation isn't delay. It's the art of preparing the body to feel everything. And that's what's coming up next. The warm-up, why anticipation matters. Many men undervalue the prelude. Gentle, non-sexual touch, tracing arms, massaging shoulders, brushing hair away, activates C-tactile afferent fibers, nerve endings evolved specifically for affectionate contact. These signals travel directly to the brain's emotional centers. That's why steady, rhythmic touch builds intimacy. It's not mood-setting fluff, it's neurobiology. As warmth and circulation increase, tissues swell and sensitivity heightens. You are not waiting to start, you are priming the body to feel everything. Think of it like stretching before exercise, the preparation that prevents strain and unlocks full movement. Once the body is awake and blood flow begins, touch becomes dialogue. And every good conversation starts with listening. That's where communication enters. Communication, as chemistry movies glamorize silence. But when it comes to fingering, real intimacy thrives on communication. When you ask, "Do you like this motion, softer or deeper?" you are not breaking the moment, you are deepening it. That simple question activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for trust and agency. She feels in control, respected, and safe, which is exactly what allows her body to open and respond. And not all communication needs words. Her breathing, the way her hips shift, the subtle tightening or relaxing of her thighs, those are micro messages that tell you everything. The art of fingering isn't about movement alone. It's about reading feedback in real time. Touch, pause, observe, adjust. That's the rhythm of real connection. So remember, every touch is information. The more you ask, notice, and adapt, the more her body will tell you exactly what works. Up to this point, we have focused on awareness and anatomy. But what comes next is timing, because rhythm, not pressure, is what truly unlocks pleasure. Rhythm over randomness. Research shows rhythm matters more than variety. The brain's reward system responds to steady, predictable patterns, like music that builds anticipation. When emotion feels right, stay there. Don't rush or switch. Deepen what's working. Pleasure grows through repetition and timing, not speed. Follow her breathing, keep the rhythm, and the body will trust the sensation. Awareness gives you control, rhythm gives you flow, but the next key is calibration. The smallest shift in pressure or angle can completely rewrite how the body feels touch, pressure, angle, and sensation. Pressure and control shape everything. Light touch activates delicate nerves that sense motion and flutter, perfect for teasing and awakening surface sensitivity. Firmer pressure engages deeper receptors that create fullness and grounding. It's not about strength, it's about precision, letting your fingers read her rhythm and breath. Even the smallest change in angle or speed can transform sensation. With age, strength may fade, but sensitivity can sharpen. Warm hands and slower pressure often create the deepest pleasure. If you are starting to see how small adjustments can create massive differences, drop precision in the comments. Because when it comes to touch, awareness is everything. Mastery in fingering isn't about force, it's about feedback. Knowing when to press, when to pause, and when to simply stay still can turn a single motion into a language of its own. You have learned how pressure shapes sensation, but now comes the question most men never ask. Where does that sensation truly come from? External versus internal focus. What research reveals? About 70 to 80% of women climax through external clitoral stimulation. Not penetration, that's simply how anatomy is wired. The clitoris holds over 8,000 nerve fibers, mostly near the surface, while internal touch adds rhythm and fullness. Together, outer and inner contact create a duet of depth and intensity. There's no single formula. Each body shifts with mood, stress, and hormones. So, follow her breath and reactions, not routine. For men over 50, patience becomes the advantage. Slower touch lets her feel more, not less. We have explored touch, rhythm, and precision, but the deepest connection isn't made with the hands. It's made with something far quieter, emotional synchrony. Emotional synchrony, the hidden multiplier. When partners breathe in sync or maintain gentle eye contact, their mirror neurons begin to fire together. The brain starts anticipating the other's sensations as if they were its own. This synchrony heightens empathy and magnifies pleasure. It's why attuned couples describe feeling in the same body. So, one of the most reliable techniques is remarkably simple. Slow your breathing. Match hers. Let your nervous systems dance before your bodies do. When both nervous systems are calm and attuned, the body becomes a mirror for emotion. That's where real connection begins and where most common mistakes can be avoided. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Small mistakes can undo pleasure fast. Speed is the most common. Moving too quickly overwhelms nerves and breaks arousal's rhythm. Slow, deliberate motion sends richer signals to the brain. Silence can also mislead. Comfort comes from gentle communication and feedback. Never skip lubrication. Dryness turns touch into friction. And forget chasing the orgasm. Focus on presence, not performance. Finally, hygiene matters. Clean hands and trimmed nails show respect. Slow down, check in, keep it clean. Pleasure thrives where care and awareness meet. Now, let's talk about what happens next. The part that too many people forget. Most men focus on the climax, but what happens after can be even more important. The forgotten phase, aftercare. After climax, the body moves into resolution, muscles relax, heart rate slows, oxytocin rises. It's not done. It's transforming. Gentle holding, soft words, or quiet stillness strengthen that oxytocin surge, lowering cortisol and deepening emotional connection. Staying close after intimacy isn't sentimental, it's biochemistry sealing the bond. Aftercare isn't a luxury, it's maintenance for both connection and confidence. When you treat touch as a cycle, arousal, release, comfort, your next encounter starts stronger. The true technique, attention. If one rule defines great touch, it's this: pleasure follows attention. The best lovers are quiet scientists, reading the body's feedback and adapting with care. They know desire shifts with mood, stress, and trust. And that awareness, not technique, is mastery. Safety and empathy release dopamine and oxytocin, deepening connection and clarity. Touch, guided by patience and curiosity, turns into communication. Because when you listen with your hands, you're really listening with your heart. If this guide opened your perspective on intimacy and anatomy, subscribe for more science-based discussions about relationships, human connection, and sexual health. Share it with someone who values respectful intimacy over routine performance. Because in the end, it was never about performance, it was always about awareness.